There's a quiet frustration many of us carry, a subtle ache that whispers when we look at our lives, especially our financial journey. We work hard, we make sacrifices, we chase opportunities. Yet for many, the landscape of our finances feels stubbornly unchanged or worse, perpetually precarious. We might observe others around us, seemingly no smarter, no luckier, yet they build a stable foundation, a quiet prosperity that doesn't shout for attention but steadily grows. They aren't lottery winners, nor are they tech moguls. They're just ordinary people diligently crafting a different reality, leaving us to wonder, what exactly is their secret? What unseen force allows them to break free from the very financial loops that keep so many others ensnared for years, even decades? This isn't merely about the numbers in a bank account. It's about the underlying sense of agency, the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are building something meaningful, something resilient. It's about the feeling of being in control of your destiny, rather than constantly reacting to external pressures. We've all seen the patterns, cycles of earning and spending, the fleeting sense of security followed by the inevitable pinch, the hope for change that so often gives way to the familiar anxieties. There's a yearning within us to understand, to finally grasp the invisible threads that connect certain choices to lasting abundance, to finally step off that treadmill and onto a path of genuine, sustained growth. Imagine for a moment an ordinary man, much like you or me, navigating the everyday currents of life, wrestling with similar frustrations. He wasn't seeking grand answers, nor was he a financial guru in the making. His journey began with a simple, almost accidental curiosity. He started to notice these quietly prosperous individuals in his own orbit, in stories he read, in the lives of mentors and even acquaintances. What started as casual observation slowly turned into a more focused attention. He didn't find a hidden manual or a secret society. He simply began connecting the dots, one story at a time, between their actions, their perspectives, and the outcomes they consistently achieved. He stumbled upon a series of real stories, not of overnight successes, but of steady, consistent progress. As he peeled back the layers of these self-made individuals' lives, a pattern began to emerge. It wasn't about a magic stock tip or an impossible business venture. Instead, it was something far more subtle, yet profoundly powerful. He began to see that their financial trajectories weren't dictated by external luck, but by an intricate dance between their internal landscape and their daily operations. It was a mosaic built from specific ways of thinking, consistent behaviors, and seemingly small, unremarkable decisions that, over time, compounded into something extraordinary. What began as a detached curiosity about others swiftly transformed into a deeply personal quest. Each insight he gleaned from these real-world narratives pulled him deeper, challenging his own preconceived notions and opening his eyes to a different way of approaching life and wealth. It wasn't just about accumulating money. It was about cultivating a certain way of being that inevitably led to financial clarity and self-reliance. He wasn't simply learning how others prospered. He was learning how to identify the subtle levers within his own life that could be adjusted, refined, and ultimately transformed. This isn't a tale of preordained luck or inherited advantage. It's a profound invitation to consider the moment you decide to consciously shift your trajectory. It's about understanding that the path to a different financial reality isn't paved with shortcuts, but a deliberate reevaluation of our inner world and our daily habits. Through his journey of discovery, he came to realize that the power to rewrite our lives isn't held by external forces, but lies dormant within our own choices, waiting to be awakened. This is where your own transformation truly begins. The journey we've traced, through the eyes of someone just like us, reveals a profound truth that transcends mere financial advice. It lays bare the invisible architecture of prosperity, not as a random stroke of fortune, but as a deliberate creation. What initially appears as a complex enigma unravels into a mosaic of consistent, intentional actions rooted deeply in a cultivated mindset. The secret, if it can be called that, is less about a grand strategy and more about the meticulous attention to the subtle currents of one's inner world and the quiet resolve to steer them toward a chosen horizon. It's about recognizing that the wealth we seek, whether tangible or intangible, is often a direct echo of the patterns we permit to play out within our daily existence. This insight challenges a long-held belief that external circumstances are the sole architects of our destiny, placing the true power firmly within the sphere of our own deliberate agency. The profound shift this ordinary man experienced wasn't a sudden influx of capital, but a dawning realization that the most significant assets weren't stocks or bonds, but time, attention, and the unwavering commitment to self-discipline. He understood that those who quietly build lasting wealth aren't necessarily endowed with superior intellect or unparalleled opportunities, but rather with a superior understanding of cause and effect in their personal economy. They master the art of delayed gratification, the discipline of consistent investment in themselves and their future, and the courage to detach from instant gratification that so often derails long-term progress. This is a restrictive path, but one of liberation, freeing oneself from the invisible chains of reactive spending and impulsive choices, forging instead a deliberate and proactive relationship with resources, both financial and personal. This narrative isn't just a recounting of someone else's awakening. It's a mirror reflecting the latent potential within each of us. It underscores that the opportunity to redefine our financial narrative isn't reserved for a privileged few, but is a birthright available to anyone willing to embark on a similar journey of self-inquiry and conscious action. The patterns he uncovered are not esoteric doctrines, but accessible principles that, once understood and consistently applied, begin to reshape the very fabric of our lives. They speak to the quiet revolution that occurs when we move beyond wishing for change and step into the empowered realm of actively creating it. This shift from passive observation to active participation is the crucible where genuine, lasting transformation is forged, allowing us to transcend past limitations and cultivate a future rich with intention and abundance. The true strength derived from this understanding lies in its enduring nature. It's not a one-time revelation, but a continuous practice, a daily reaffirmation of purpose and choice. Just as a sculptor patiently chips away at stone to reveal the form within, we too must consistently refine our habits, sharpen our awareness, and align our actions with our deepest aspirations. This journey is not without its challenges, its moments of doubt or setback, but armed with its clarity, those moments become not points of failure, but opportunities for recalibration and deeper learning. The steady hand of deliberate choice, guided by an informed perspective, ultimately carves a path that diverges sharply from the common loop of financial struggle, leading instead to a landscape of increasing stability, freedom, and profound self-respect. So, consider this not merely a story observed, but an invitation personally extended. The patterns are visible, the insights are clear, and the power to begin is unequivocally yours. This isn't about chasing an elusive pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. It's about building an unshakable foundation from the ground up, brick by deliberate brick, within the very boundaries of your current life. It's about cultivating the inner landscape that naturally attracts and sustains outer prosperity. The true practice begins now, not in some distant future, but in the quiet decisions you make today, in the beliefs you choose to nurture, and in the unwavering commitment to a trajectory you consciously design. Embrace the clarity, trust your capacity, and step into the deliberate creation of a life defined not by accident, but by profound and empowering intention. Subscribe for more stories that shift the way you see money and yourself. Share your turning point in the comments. Your insight may inspire someone else.